Hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you very much for joining me here. We're going to take a look at Cardano, ADA, whichever one you want to call it. It is essentially a special currency. Nothing really special about it, honestly. Got really good fundamentals, but that's not why we're here. We're looking at the technical charts only. So just bear that in mind. We're going to help you find a good entry point, but also best practice so you can learn along the way, right? Isn't that why we're all here? To help learn and grow together. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. Always do your own research. And just note that I have a link to my Telegram and my Patreon account as well as Discord channel. It's all in the link in the description below. So feel free to reference that on your own time. Without further ado, let's go ahead and just check it on out. All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a look at ADA. See what Cardano is up to. And before we do, if you're new to the channel, I always look at Bitcoin and Ethereum first just to ensure we get a good baseline of what's going on, because there's always a correlation no matter how you look at it. And if we, regardless of how we feel, Bitcoin definitely has an impact, right? Regardless. So we'll take a look at that and see how awesome Bitcoin is doing right now. All right, yay, we tested the 33,500 today. That's so great. As you can tell, I'm very enthusiastic about Bitcoin right now. I just love the way that it's draining everyone's account. Okay. Regardless, let's go ahead and take a look at it. And before we do, this is Bitcoin, and I use the Binance trading application, and I use TradingView within. So if you need to know how to find that, just click TradingView in the corner, and you can enable all the indicators if you'd like to follow along. I use the 50 and the 200-day moving average primarily on this 4-hour chart, and we'll look at the other indicators later. But at this point, if you're looking at the 200, 50-day moving average, all these resistance lines are well above. So honestly, not much to be said here except for the fact that the price is hovering around 37,000, and if it comes up above 42,400 or 300 rather, then we might see some type of momentum. But all we need is for Bitcoin to consolidate for a little while and stop being so stupid. Sorry. It's been a long day, but also very frustrated with Bitcoin, as I think most of us are. So make up your mind already, right? So that being said, that is Bitcoin right now. Let's go ahead and look at Ethereum. Ethereum is essentially mirroring Bitcoin right now. It traditionally does very well, but I'm speculating that for the most part, when Bitcoin is selling off, instead of those flocking to Ethereum after selling off Bitcoin, they're going over to ADA, Solana's, XRPs, a lot of other ones that are growing in market cap size right now. So I'm not surprised by that, because a lot of the good, better projects, not saying they're better than Ethereum or Bitcoin, but they are better in their own way, are essentially gaining popularity, gaining momentum, which they should have a long time ago, but now it's finally time. So that's another reason why I want to look at ADA here today, because I think that's got absolutely good, awesome potential. Look at the, do your own research, look at the fundamentals, but I think you'll be impressed if you do. Either way, we're here for Ethereum at the moment. We have a resistance level at approximately, 3,100. The moving average is also intersecting, and we may also see a golden cross come down and intersect with the 200 from the 50. So, a lot of resistance lines right now. It's a lot of room to improve, for lack of better terms, but right now, that's kind of where we're at with Ethereum. So let's take a look at ADA. So Cardano, what's going on with you? So Cardano's all-time high. This is the one-day chart. We always start with the one-day chart first and work our way down. One-day chart here for Cardano, high of about 247. So we don't even need to mark that, that's a ways off, but 247 was the high. That was just before the Elon candle and the China candle. So all in all, we're looking, I would still say pretty good, because look at this, the moving average, slight variance here, and this was essentially a tough time, because this is when Bitcoin did its first massive sell-off. Look at this, this is a state of consolidation for Bitcoin in this range right here, and look what ADA did. It went on fire, so it grew rapidly. Look at the volume too, it actually didn't increase. That is interesting. I expected it to be of increase. That's a really good sign as well. It goes to show kind of a lot, but that being said, the 50-day moving average is working very, very strong as a support level. So I would venture to guess that the price will continue to increase as the moving average does as well. We should expect to see that next few days. I'd be very surprised if the price goes any lower. Because right here, you see the previous major resistance level of 148 is now a major support. Furthermore, RSI is low, MACD appears to be bearish, no surprise there, not much else to disseminate. Let's look at the 4-hour chart now, and we can see, again, these strong wicks on the candle charts, and the 200-day moving average is essentially working as a support level right now. It's kind of hovering above and below, but I do feel like it's a support based on this being a major support at 148. And just in case you don't know, the 4-hour chart, the moving average of 250, the simple moving averages, those work the strongest on the 4-hour chart. Okay. In other words, that's the one that all the industry standards, all the industry leaders use. So if all the big whales are using those, we should too, right? So that's essentially why I always use them, because it's important to understand that. And if we look at the RSI on the 4-hour chart, extremely low, peaked under 30 here for a moment, and it's got even really close, got about 35. So honestly, we're looking in very, very good shape here, because this is implying essentially that we have major support, another major support, potential resistance to the 50, but I think that'll work as a support level eventually. And for lack of better terms here, we're in just extremely good shape. This is a great time to invest in ADA, in my personal opinion. Again, if Bitcoin goes down to 25,000, we'll see it come down past these support levels. But if Bitcoin can just be awesome for 2 days and just go level, go horizontal, we're going to see a lot of growth from ADA. So if we can get a second little the tail end of the bull run for Bitcoin, we're going to be in pretty good shape. I do feel like it's very likely it's mirroring 2013 in a lot of ways, where it had a second run near the very end. And we've had some unique circumstances too, right? If it wasn't for the Elon candle and the China candle, I mean, shoot, I feel like we'd probably be upwards of $3 right now, 3+. So my guess is that we will see some really good price movement here in the near future. I'm surprised it's as low as it is right now, and honestly, if I had more to invest, I would. This is a good one to invest in, a really good price right now. Moving on to the 15-minute chart. I always disable my moving averages because they're less relevant on the 15-minute chart, whereas the VWAP and the EMA, the exponential moving average, are more important on the shorter time frames. More specifically, the VWAP. Let's just only focus on that for now. If you're not familiar with the VWAP, what it is, it essentially allows for you to understand what the average volume was in the last 24 hours expressed as a price. So right now, the price, according to the VWAP, the average volume is $1.51, is right there with it. What's good is the price is above the VWAP line. So when it's above, it's essentially considered a support level. Below, it's the inverse, right? So this was essentially bearish, and it came down. I'm venturing to guess we had a really low RSI, came back up, corrected itself. Now its average true range is anywhere between 150 and probably upwards of the most recent resistance of about 195. So I'd be very surprised if we didn't see the price come back up to the $2 range in the next 2 to 4 days, pending Bitcoin not being a jackass. Sorry, I'm salty. Apologize. Yeah, so that's ADA here. Let's look at the 1-minute chart and just quickly identify the EMA, because if you're not familiar with the EMA line, it's my second favorite indicator above the VWAP, or below, I guess, with. They're both best used in tandem. So as you can see here, of course, a little choppy with the price, but as you can tell, when the price is above the EMA line, it's bullish. When it's under, it's bearish. But the best time to take entry is to wait for the EMA line to be tested a second time. Let me just give you a quick example of that. I try to give this example in all videos because it just makes the most sense. So say, for example, you decide to take entry at this point. Not always the most ideal because you don't have true confirmation, but since the RSI was so low at 30, you're probably in pretty good shape to take entry there. But just say you took entry here, you wait for 2 solid green bars, which these two right here are 2 solid green bars, right? So you take entry here. Price comes up, comes right back down, but look what it did. It tested this EMA line, right? And what did it do again? Comes up, rejects, tests again, holds up, right? So the beautiful thing about the EMA line is it kind of works as a kind of a support level, but it also just pushes the momentum in the direction that it's heading. So again, bear in mind, this could have very well come up and come right back down. But with it being as overextended as it was extremely oversold. It had no reason to, right? It had to come back up. But in any normal circumstance, it could come back down, reverse on you, but you want to wait. So what you do essentially, here's what I do. I say, for example, I took entry right there. I would take a 30% position. I would then come up here, let the price come up, and bounce off VWAP, correction, bounce off the EMA, and then once it bounces, I would add to my position, probably somewhere in here, right? Because again, these are 1 minute charts. You can't really, you got to react quickly, right? So I'd take a position right there. And I'd probably add somewhere in the range of 20%, okay? So again, if I'm starting with $1,000, for example, I would have added 300 and then 200 more. And the reason why I do that is because I like to add to my position, I like to average up, because I don't like taking 100% position down here. 100 is not good. Don't do it. The main reason why is because it could very well reverse on you and lose out, and you'd be out, 200 or 300 instead of 20 or 30, and it's just a big problem, right? How do you have risk management if you're gambling? You don't. You need a 2-to-1 ratio at all times when you take entry, and you need to understand that you have to get out. If you're going to lose that 10%, it's all good, take it. But more often than not, if you're a 50% trader, you'll hit that 2-to-1 ratio more frequently. As long as you look for these kind of indicators here, right? If you're just jumping in willy-nilly, you're probably not going to do very well. But if you pay attention and you use this formula, or whatever you want to call it, it's not necessarily a formula, it's just kind of a standard. It works in all aspects of trading. Like I did ETFs, futures, and a lot of different currencies before I jumped into trading crypto. And the best and only way to survive is to have some type of game plan. You will have to set a target before you get in. All right, enough about that. But that is essentially what I want to get at here. So long story short, if you're going to take entry, wait for the price to be over VWAP. That's check that off the list. That's number one. That's rule number one. Rule number two is to wait for confirmation above the EMA line. Never chase the bottom. And what I mean by don't chase the bottom is wait for the price to come up and bounce off the EMA second time. If you don't do that, you're going to find yourself in this rut where you're going to essentially be losing out because you're chasing the lower lows and lower highs, and it just works out terribly. I've been there before, that's why I say this. Okay. But that is the extent of my rant. I hope you found this beneficial, and I'm so sorry if it was, again, salty. It just happens sometimes, right? Been a long day, been a long week. We've all felt the pain, the pressure of wonderful Bitcoin. So just be smart, be wise, and be tactful. That's all I ask. And if you have a moment to spare, feel free to reference my Telegram community and my Discord channel. Everyone's there learning and growing together. Furthermore, also bear in mind too, I have a Patreon account, and I'm going to start a signal group soon so we can start signaling good entry points and essentially having that option there. So feel free to reference my Patreon and become a patron if you'd like. Really appreciate the support. Nonetheless, we'll see you in the next video. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Take good care.